business organization will not involve economic event. So this statement is false. So you know there are two types of users of accounting information. One is internal user, other one is external user. Decrease or decline in the value of fixed asset. As and when the time passes, the value of fixed asset goes on decreasing. That is known as what? Depreciation. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. My dear students, today we shall discuss first PUC Accountancy Model Question Paper 2021-22, which is prescribed by Karnataka PU Board. So let us quickly begin the session. Let us see what is the blueprint which they have given this year and what would be the question paper pattern and what are the questions they have given in the model question paper 2021-22. So quickly we shall begin the session. So this is a question paper pattern. So this time your question paper pattern has been changed a bit. Be careful, go through this question paper pattern here. Here, number of options in each and every section have been increased. So go through this. So your question paper pattern for this year will be, so under part A, number of questions, that is under part A, so the type of questions will be 1 mark question. So of course we know we are having 5 parts, that is part A, B, C, D and E. So this year also you will be having part A to part E, and the part A is 1 mark questions where the total number of questions they will ask is 12 questions. But earlier it was only 10. Now they will ask 12 questions, out of which you have to write any 8 questions, which carries 1 mark and the total mark is 8 marks. So hope you are clear with section A. So section A is about 1 mark questions where they will ask 12 questions, out of which you have to write or you have to answer any 8, so which carries 1 mark. So the total will be 8 marks, or the total weightage of section A is 8 marks. Now coming to section B, that is 2 mark questions. Of course, as earlier, section B is 2 mark questions where they will ask you 8 questions, out of which you have to answer any 5 questions, which carries 2 marks, that is 5 into 2. So the total weightage of part B is 10 marks. That is 5 questions of 2 marks you have to answer. Now coming to section C. So section C is for 6 marks questions. So section C, as usual, it will have 6 marks questions. So this year they will ask you 8 questions, out of which you have to answer any 4. So see here, so you have to answer any 4 only out of 8 questions, which carries 6 marks, and the total weightage of section C is 24 marks. That is 4 into 6. Now coming to the section D. So section D is of 12 marks questions. So section D is of 12 marks question where they will ask you 8 questions, out of which you have to answer any 4. Now coming to section E. So section E, we know it is a 5 marks question, that is practical oriented question. We call it as POQ. So practical oriented question, they will ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer any 2, which carries 10 marks. So that is 2 into 5, that is 10 marks. So the whole question paper pattern we have discussed here, that is from part A to part E. Part A is for 1 mark where you have to answer any 8, and part B is of 2 marks where you have to answer any 5, and part C is for 6 marks where you have to answer any 4, and part D is of 12 marks, again you have to answer any 4, and part E is POQ, that is practical oriented question for 5 marks where you have to answer any 2. So the total number of questions in your question paper will be 40 questions. Out of 40 questions you have to answer any 23 questions. So section wise you have to answer. It's not just that from the whole question paper you have to just answer 23. So according to each and every sections, so the total number of questions you have to answer is 23 and the total weightage of your accountancy paper is 100 marks. So hope you are clear with the question paper pattern. Now coming to the next one, that is blueprint. So what the Karnataka PU board has given the blueprint about your accountancy paper. Okay, so this is your blueprint. So chapter wise weightage of marks and typology of questions 2021-22 only. So remember my dear students, they have mentioned the word only in the sense this blueprint is for 2021-22 only. Okay, so class, that is first PUC. So we are going to discuss about first PUC accountancy paper and you know about the accountancy code, correct? So what is the accountancy code for accountancy subject? That is 3030. So the code for accountancy paper is 3030. So this is a table where you can get a clear picture from each and every chapter. So what are the type of questions they might ask? That is whether it is of 1 mark, 2 mark, 6 marks, 12 marks. So like that you will be able to understand here. Now coming to book 1. So we know our accountancy has been or the accountancy paper have been divided into 2 books, that is book 1 and book 2. So from book 1 or you can take it as part 1. Okay, so from book 1 your first chapter is Introduction to Accounting and the total marks. So the total weightage of this chapter is 4 marks. Okay, so from your first chapter, so this you know basically it is a theory chapter, that is Introduction to Accounting, where you are going to learn what is this accounting is all about. So you will learn the basic theory aspects in your first chapter, that is Introduction to Accounting, and the total weightage is 4 marks. So let us see how the marks have been distributed here. So the total marks is 4 marks, where you can expect 1 mark 2 question and 2 marks 1 question. So that the total is 4 marks. Now coming to chapter 2, that is theory base of accounting. So this is also a theory chapter. So where you are going to learn about all the accounting principles, accounting concepts, conventions. That is your second chapter, theory base of accounting. Here also the weightage of this chapter is 4 marks. Now, how the distribution is made, how you can get 4 marks from this chapter? You can expect 2 questions of 1 marks and 1 question of 2 marks. Okay, so you will get, so like first chapter also, you will get 2 questions of 1 mark and 1 question of 2 marks. Now coming to the third chapter, very important chapter, recording of transactions 1. So here the practical problem starts. That is your third chapter, recording of transactions 1, and the total weightage of this chapter is 22. So 22 marks can be expected from this chapter, where you will get 1 mark 2 questions, 2 mark 1 question. So you'll get 1 mark 2 questions, 2 mark 1 questions, 6 marks 1 question, 12 marks 1 question. So the total weightage of this chapter is 22. Now coming to the fourth chapter, this is a very important chapter, recording of transactions 2. Now if you see the weightage of this chapter, if you study only this chapter, you can pass the exam. Okay, so the total weightage of this chapter is 36 marks. So you know about it, 35 is a passing mark. But if you read this chapter, you will get 36 marks, but you have to study properly. Then only you can get 36 marks. Okay, so the total weightage is 36 marks, where you can expect 2 questions of 6 marks, that is 6 marks 2 question, and 12 marks 2 questions. So 6 marks 2 questions, 12 marks 2 questions. Now coming to the chapter 5, that is from part 1 book, Bank Reconciliation Statement. So again a very important chapter, practical problems can be asked here. So the total weightage is 14 marks, where you will get 2 marks 1 question and 12 marks 1 question. So as earlier, you will get 2 marks 1 question as well as 12 marks 1 question. Now coming to chapter 6, trial balance and rectification of errors. So this is also one of the important chapter here, and the weightage of this chapter is 9 marks. So under chapter 6 you can expect 9 marks, where 1 mark 1 question will be asked, 2 marks 1 question will be asked, and 6 marks 1 question will be asked. So 1 mark 1, 2 mark 1 and 6 marks 1. Now coming to the 7th chapter, depreciation, provision and reserves. So this is the 7th chapter under book 1, that is depreciation, provisions and reserves, and the total weightage is 14 marks from this chapter. So here you will get 2 marks 1 question and 12 marks 1 question. That is from section B and section D. Okay. Now coming to the next last chapter under book 1, that is accounting for bills of exchange, where you can expect 13 marks, and how this 13 marks can be got, that is 1 mark 1 question and 12 marks 1 question. So the total weightage is 13 marks. So if you see the book 1 itself, so you can get 116 marks from the book 1 itself. So this is without options. So make sure that in each and every section there are options. So this is without option I am telling. So you can get 116 marks, where 1 mark 8 question will be asked, and 2 marks 6 questions, 6 marks 4 questions, and 12 marks 6 questions will be asked. So except POQ questions, you can expect 116 marks from book 1. Now coming to book 2, that is the second book, so which starts from 9th chapter, that is financial statement 1, and the weightage of this 9th chapter is 14 marks, where you can get 2 marks 1 question and 6 marks 2 questions. So this is excluding your POQ. So I am telling all the marks allotment here. Now coming to the 10th chapter, that is financial statement 2, that is under book 2, financial statement 2, and the weightage of this chapter is 13 marks, where you can expect 1 mark 1 question and 12 marks 1 question. So the total weightage is 13 marks. And the next chapter, that is chapter 11, accounts from incomplete records. So accounts from incomplete records, chapter 11, where the weightage is 19 marks. So this is a maximum marks where you can get from book 2, that is 19 marks, where you can expect 1 mark 1 question, 6 marks 1 and 12 marks 1 question. Next, coming to the chapter 12, that is applications of computer in accounting. So applications of computers in accounting, and the next chapter, that is chapter 13, computerized accounting system, both are theory chapters. So from chapter 12 you can expect 3 marks, 1 mark 1 question and 2 marks 1 question. And the last chapter, that is chapter 13, computerized accounting system, where you can expect 7 marks, that is 1 mark 1 question and 6 marks 1 question. So this is how the marks has been distributed in this particular year. So from each and every chapter, what is the total marks you can expect and how the questions will be asked. Okay, so total of part 2. So from part 1, you are getting 116 marks, and from part 2 you will get 56 marks. That is section A. So you will get 1 mark 4 questions and 2 mark 2 questions, 6 marks 4 questions and 12 marks 2 questions. So this is including your options. So remember, it's not just that you might have a doubt. So for 100 marks we have, or if you read only just book 1 is enough or not. So this is including your options. So make sure that you have to read both book 1 as well as book 2. Okay. So the grand total, that is from part 1 and part 2 book, excluding POQ. So excluding POQ, you can get 172 marks, where 1 mark 12 questions will be asked, 2 marks 8 questions and 6 marks 8 questions and 12 marks 8 questions will be asked. So this will be a question paper pattern. So 1 mark 12 questions they will ask, out of which you have to write any 8, and 2 marks 8 questions will be asked, out of which you have to write any 5. Next, Under section C, out of 8 questions, you have to write any 4, and section D, out of 8, you have to write any 4. So here I'll write out of 12, you have to write any 8. Next, under 2 marks question, that is under section B, out of 8, you have to write any 5. Next, under section C, for 6 marks out of 8, you have to write any 4. Next, section D, out of 8, you have to write any 4. So this is your excluding POQ, you have to answer like this. Next, coming to POQ, that is 4 questions which carries 5 marks each. In the sense, they will ask you 4 questions out of which you have to answer any 2. So, if they ask 4 questions, it is nothing but 20 marks you can get, but you have to write any 2. So, you have to write any 2 questions, that is of 20 marks. So, out of 4, your POQ questions to be answered is any 2. Next, so the total marks and section wise marks. So, the total whole accountancy paper will be for 192 marks. So, the total weightage of your accountancy paper is for 192, where from section A, you can get 12 marks, section B 16 marks, section C 48 marks, and section D 96 marks, and 20 marks is of POQ, that is practical oriented question. So, the total weightage of this paper is 192 marks. As I've already told you, no need to worry. So, from section A, they will ask you 12 questions, out of which you have to answer any 8. Next, from section B, they will ask you 8 questions, out of which you have to answer any 5. Next, section C, out of 8, you have to answer any 4. Next, under section D, for 12 marks, out of 8, you have to answer any 4. Next, under section E, practical oriented question, they will ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer any 2. So that you will get 100 marks. Other than that, you have lot of options. So, other than that, extra 92 marks will be your options. So, make sure that this time you have lot of chances to score 100 out of 100 in your accountancy paper. Okay. Now, this is about your weightage. This is about your blueprint about your accountancy paper. Now, we shall directly go through the model question paper. So, go through this question paper here. So, just I have put all the questions what they have given by the Karnataka PU board. So, they have given model question paper first year PUC and accountancy. I have told you the code is 3030. And they have given certain instructions here. All the sub questions of section A should be answered continuously at one place. So, you can't write the questions from section A randomly. You have to write in one place itself. So, if you are going to answer all the 8 questions, so it has to be answered continuously in one place. Next, provide working notes wherever necessary. So, of course, in accountancy, we need the working note. So, whenever there is a need for working note, we have to provide that. Next, 15 minutes extra has been allotted for the candidates to read the questions. So, this instruction was as earlier itself. So, 15 minutes extra will be given to read out the question paper. Next, figures in the right hand margin indicate the full marks. Okay. So, under section A, answer any 8 questions. Each question carries 1 mark. So, your section A is for how much? So, section A is for 1 mark. Out of 12, you have to answer any 8. So, out of 12 questions, you have to answer any 8. Okay. Now, the question was like this. So, business organization does not involve economic events. State true or false. Next, accounting is basically concerned with forecasting, measurement, management, none of the above. Everything is in one word or in one sentence. Next, they have given GST is a destination-based tax on dash of goods and services. Next, state any one system of accounting. The process of recording transaction in journal is called as dash. Ledger records transaction in chronological order, analytical order, both A and B, none. Next, give an example for error of principle. Name any one party to a bills of exchange. Next, decreasing in the value of fixed asset is called. So, is called as what? The opening capital is ascertained by preparing cash book, creditors, debtors account, opening statement of affairs. They have given the option. Expand PIN, PIN, state any one accounting package. So see here, they have asked you 12 questions, but they have told us to answer only 8. So section B is for 2 marks, where you have to answer any 5 questions. That is 5 into 2, 10. So they have given the question like this: name any 2 users of accounting, mention any 2 accounting concepts, state the rules of debit and credit of liabilities, state any 2 reasons for the difference between cash book balance and passbook balance. So if they ask for 2 marks, they will ask any 2 difference. Okay, name any 2 methods of preparing the trial balance, state any 2 types of reserves, mention any 2 difference between capital receipts and revenue receipts, write any 2 limitations of computer system. So they will ask you 8 questions, out of which you have to answer any 5, which carries 2 marks. Now coming to section C. So you have to answer any 4 questions out of 8 questions. So they will ask you 8, out of which you have to answer any 4. Okay, so answer any 4 questions. Each question carries 6 marks. So they have asked a question on accounting equation, next on petty cash book, next they have asked on sales book, that is in order to prepare the sales book. Next they have asked a question on trial balance. So they have asked us to prepare the trial balance, giving certain particulars here. Next, they have asked us to prepare the profit and loss account for the year ending. So they have given certain particulars where we have to prepare profit and loss account. Next, they have asked us to prepare the balance sheet for 6 marks. Here also they have given all the particulars. We have to prepare the balance sheet. Next, they have asked us to prepare total debtors account and find out what is the cash received from debtors. So they have given certain transactions here. So by using this, we have to prepare total debtors account. Next, explain any 3 advantages and 3 limitations of computerized accounting system. So this is a theory question. Okay. So as I told you, out of 8, you have to answer any 4 questions. Okay, which carries 6 marks. Now coming to section D. So here also answer any 4 question. Each question carries 12 marks. So we have to answer any 4 which carries 12 marks. So the total weightage of this section is 48 marks. So they will ask you 8 questions, out of which you have to answer any 4. Now the first question was relating to the journal entries. So this is a question relating to journal entries. Next, that is on 2-column cash book, or a question on double column cash book. Next, we have to prepare the relevant subsidiary book. So you will have a 12 marks problem to prepare various subsidiary book. It may be purchase book, sales book, purchase return, sales return, journal proper. So relevant subsidiary book, depending upon the transaction, we have to prepare. Next, they have asked us to prepare bank reconciliation statement. So BRS for 12 marks. Next, depreciation. So they have asked us to prepare machinery, told us to prepare machinery account and depreciation account. That is a question on depreciation. Next, a question on bills of exchange, where you have to prepare journal entry in the books of drawer as well as drawee for 12 marks. Next, a question on final account. So they will give the trial balance, they'll give the adjustment, where we have to prepare trading profit and loss account and balance sheet for 12 marks. So that was your trial balance and this is your adjustments. Next question is on incomplete records, where we have to prepare statement of affairs, statement of profit and loss account and revised statement of affairs by using this information. Next, coming to section E. So as I told you, in section D, out of 8 questions, you have to write any 4. Now coming to section E, that is practical oriented questions, so which carries 5 marks. They will ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer any 2. So answer any 2 questions, each question carries 5 marks. So here they have asked in your model question paper, that is the component chart of GST. Next, draw a specimen of check, preparing trading account with 5 imaginary figures. So we have to imagine 5 figures and prepare the trading account. Then draw a block diagram of main components of computer. So hope you are clear with the model question paper what they have asked, and this time you have number of options. Okay, so you have gone through each and every section in detail, how many number of questions they will ask and how much you have to answer. So today we shall discuss section A and section B, that is 1 mark as well as 2 mark questions. Along with the options, I am going to discuss both the question as well as answer also. Now moving on to the first one. First we shall go through the instructions what they have given in the model question paper. All the sub questions of section A, that is section A is of 1 mark. Okay, remember section A is for 1 mark, should be answered continuously at one place. So you have to answer all the questions of section A continuously. So you should not randomly answer the questions. You have to answer the question continuously. So they have asked us to answer any 8 questions. So if you are answering the 8 questions, so write all the questions in one place. That is, write answers of all the questions in one place. Don't randomly write the answers. So all the sub questions of section A should be answered at one place. Provide working note wherever necessary. So if there is any necessary to provide the working note to our solution in the question paper, so we have to provide the sufficient working note. Next 15 minutes extra will be given to the candidates to read the questions. So 15 minutes extra will be given for the students in order to read the question paper. Next, figures in the right hand margin indicate the full marks. That is, in each and every section they will write the marks, so which indicates the full marks of that particular section. So I'll tell where they have given. Okay, now coming to the section A. So this is the questions what they have asked in section A. Answer any 8 questions. Each question carries 1 mark. As I told you, your first section is for 8 marks and this is what they have told. So the total marks will be in the right margin of your question paper. So section A is of 1 mark questions where you have to answer 8 questions. Now come to the first question here. So the first question was, business organization does not involve economic events. So remember this word, they have told it does not involve economic events. And they have given in the bracket straight, true or false. So what is the answer? So you have to see this word does not involve. In the sense they are telling that business organization will not involve economic event. So this statement is false. So your answer is what? False, because it involves economic event. Business organization involves economic event, but they have given it does not involve economic event. So the answer is false. Now coming to the second question, accounting is basically concerned with. So they have given us few options: forecasting, measurement, management, none of the above. So how you have to remember this? In the definition of accounting itself, it tells that accounting is an art of recording, classifying and summarizing. So why we are going to record, why we are going to classify, and one more thing, it tells that we have to record those transactions which can be measured in terms of money. Correct? So accounting is basically concerned with not forecasting. So the answer is measurement. So it is concerned with what? Measurement. So your answer will be answer, that is B, measurement. So my dear students, while writing your answer, make sure that suppose if they are asked multiple choice questions, so make sure that you write this option properly. So B, measurement. It's not just writing measurement, write the answer as B, measurement. Okay. So accounting is basically concerned with measurement. Next one is GST is a destination based tax on dash of goods and services. So GST is implied on what? Sale of goods and services. Correct? So your answer is sale. Now coming to the fourth question, state any one system of accounting. So there are mainly 2 systems of accounting. One is single entry system, other one is double entry system. Since they have asked for 1 marks and they have clearly told state any one system of accounting. So you can write either single entry system or double entry system. So here I have given the answer double entry system, or you can write it as single entry system also. Okay. Now coming to the fifth question. The process of recording transactions in journal is called as what? So for this answer, you have to know the term properly. Okay. So easy to remember. So they have told that journal. So the process of recording transaction in journal is called as what? So your answer is there in the question itself. It is called as journalizing. You have to remember this term. That is, answer is journalizing. The process of recording transaction in journal is called as what? Journalizing. Next one is sixth question. Ledger record transaction in. So ledger in journal will record the transaction in chronological order. That is one by one. Then how do we record the transaction in ledger? You have options here. First one is chronological order. Second one is analytical order. Third one is both A and B, and the option D is none. So the correct answer is option B, that is analytical order. So we will record the transaction in ledger in analytical order, but in journal we will record the transaction in chronological order. So hope you are clear with sixth question. Now coming to the seventh one. Give an example for error of principle. You have to know what do you mean by error of principle. So, while recording the transaction, each and every accountant has to follow the accounting principle. Suppose if it doesn't follow, that error is known as what? Error of principle. Now they have asked, give an example. So this is for 1 mark. You have to give any one example for error of principle. That is, by not following the accounting principle, whatever the mistakes they are going to make, you have to give a just example of it. So here I have given credit purchase of machinery, rupees 20,000. is recorded in purchases book. So, it is recorded in purchase book instead of journal proper. Now, why this is error of principle? So, what will record in a purchase book? Only credit purchase of goods. Correct? So, we will record only credit purchase of goods. But here, this transaction tells us that credit purchase of machinery. So, machinery is what? It is a fixed asset. It is not a goods. Correct? So, credit purchase of machinery, rupees 20,000 is recorded in purchases book, not in the journal proper. So, it has to be recorded in journal proper, but by mistake, they have recorded in purchases book. But we will not record purchase of fixed asset in a purchases book. We will record only credit purchase of goods. Okay? So, here, accounting principle is not been followed, so it is a error of principle. Next question, name any one party to a bills of exchange. So if you know this chapter properly, you can easily identify there are number of parties like drawer, drawee, payee, endorser, endorsee. So here they have just asked name one party. So I have given the answer drawer. So it's not only drawer, it can be drawee, it can be payee, it can be endorser, or it can be endorsee. You can write any one of the party. Next one, decreasing in the value of fixed asset is called as what? So, gradual decrease in the fixed asset. So, what it is called as? You have to remember the word. So, what it is called as? It is depreciation. So, depreciation means what? Decrease or decline in the value of fixed asset. As and when the time passes, the value of fixed asset goes on decreasing. That is known as what? Depreciation. Next, 10th question. The opening capital is ascertained by preparing. So, this is a question from incomplete records. So, where we have to find the opening capital as well as closing capital. So, how do we find out? So, if you know how to solve that 12 marks problem, it is very easy to answer here. So, they have given the option cash book, A cash book, B creditors account, C debtors account, D opening statement of assets. So, how do we find the opening capital if they have not given in the question? So, we will find out by using opening statement of assets. So by preparing opening statement of assets, the balancing figure will be opening capital as well as closing capital. Okay, so your answer is opening statement of assets. Next, 11th question, expand PIN, P-I-N. So you have to know the expansion here. But while writing the expansion, make sure that your P, I and N should be in capital. Okay, so remember this, whenever you write an abbreviations, make sure that the first word should be in capital. So P indicates personal, I indicates identification and N indicates number. So what is the full form of PIN? Personal identification number. Next, 12th question, state any one accounting package. So there are number of accounting package. For 1 mark, they have just asked one. So the answer will be ready to use accounting package. So these are the questions what they have asked for 1 mark. So see the number of questions here. They have asked 12 questions, out of which you have to answer any 8 questions. Okay, so remember this, you have 4 more options to answer. Now coming to the section B. Okay, so this is for 2 marks. Okay, answer any 5 question, each question carries 2 marks. And here they have given 5 into 2. In the sense you have to answer any 5 which carries 2 marks. So the total weightage is 10 marks. Okay, so let us see whatever the questions they have asked under section B. So 13th question, so here it will be continuation, and while writing your exam, don't start with a 1 number again. That is under section B, don't start with the first question or don't write it as 1. So it will start from 13th number. Okay. So name any 2 users of accounting. So who are the users of accounting? It's nothing but accounting information. Who will depend on accounting information? So your answer can be any 2 members. It may be internal user or external user. So here I have taken shareholders as well as president. 1 internal user and 1 external user. So you know there are 2 types of users of accounting information. One is internal user, other one is external user. So you can write, so they have just told us to name any 2. So you can write any 2. So shareholders and president. Suppose they have asked mention the 2 types of users, then internal users and external users. Okay, so here they have specifically asked name any 2 users. So it can be shareholders, president, vice president, chairman, CEO. So you can write any 2 of them. Next one is mention any 2 accounting concepts. So this we learn in the 2nd chapter. Right? So mention any 2 accounting concepts. So there are number of accounting concepts. They have just told to mention any 2. So here I have taken business entity concept as well as money measurement concept, or you can write going concern concept. So there are number of accounting concepts. You can write any 2. Next one is state the rules of debit and credit of liabilities. So they have asked to they have asked to write the rules of debit and credit of liabilities. So this you have to remember the golden rule here. So increase in liability is credit and decrease in liability is debit. So for each and everything, so for assets, liability, capital, revenue and expense, we have the rules. So you have to know the rules. Okay, so any of the rules they might ask in your exam. So here they have asked the rule of debit and credit of liability. So what is the rule? Increase in liability is credit and decrease in liability is debit. Next, 16th question, state any 2 reasons. So they have asked the reasons for the difference between cash book balance as well as passbook balance. So this is a question on bank reconciliation statement. So what is the necessity to prepare bank reconciliation statement? To reconcile or tally bank balance as per cash book and bank balance as per passbook. Now here the question has been asked, state any 2 reasons for the difference between bank balance as per cash book and bank balance as per passbook. So there are number of reasons why these 2 book does not get tally. So here I have taken, So first reason is that check paid into bank but not collected. Now here the business have paid check into bank, but the bank have not collected. In that situation, bank balance as per cash book and bank balance as per passbook does not tally. And the next one is bank charges not recorded in the cash book. So there are certain charges which is incurred in the bank. So bank will record those charges, but it is not known to the cashier in the organization. He will not record. In that situation also, bank balance as per cash book and passbook does not tally. So here just they have asked two reasons. You can write any of the two reasons. Okay. Next, 17th question. Name any two methods of preparing the trial balance. So you can write any of the two methods to prepare the trial balance. So there are actually three methods: total method, balance method, total cum balance method. So here they have just asked two methods. So you can write totals method and balance method. Okay. It's not that you can write three also, but whatever they have asked, just write that much. Okay. Next, 18th question. State any two types of reserves. Here also for 2 marks they have asked state any two types of reserves. So here general reserve, specific reserve. So only two types they have asked for 2 marks. So you can write any of the two types of reserves for 2 marks. Now coming to the next question. Mention any two difference between capital receipts as well as revenue receipts. Now you have to remember these words. You have to know the meaning of these words, then you can write the difference. So capital receipts in the sense, so these are the receipts which are non-recurring in nature. So which does not take place again and again. But revenue receipt means what? So these are the receipts which takes place in the organization often and often. So that is known as revenue receipts. Now here they have asked mention any two difference between capital receipts as well as revenue receipts. So how you can answer? So in order to make your answer sheet neat, so draw the columns like this so that it will be very neat to look. So first one, under capital receipts, so these receipts are non-recurring, that is not regular in nature. So I have already told you capital receipts means what? These are the receipts which are non-recurring in nature. Example, long-term borrowings. Okay, so long-term borrowed funds. Now coming to the revenue receipts, these receipts are recurring in nature, that is regular in nature. Example, receipts from sales. So in an organization, selling of goods or selling of any other assets keeps on happening, correct? So it is regular in nature, that is known as what? Revenue receipts. And the next difference is that these receipts will appear in the balance sheet, that is capital receipts will appear in the balance sheet, whereas revenue receipts will appear in trading and profit and loss account. Okay, so capital receipts appear in the balance sheet, and other difference is that revenue receipts appear in trading and profit and loss account. So they have asked to write the two difference between revenue receipts and capital receipts. Now coming to the next question, write any two limitations of computer system. So here they have asked to write any two limitations of computer system. So you can write lack of common sense. So like human being, so this computer is what? It is an electronic machine or electronic device. So like human being, it will not have extra common sense. So it will work like a machine where the information is fed into the computer. So it will give us meaningful information. Other than that, extra work or extra common sense will not be applied by the computer. So that is a limitation here. So computer system do not possess any common sense. They work according to the stored programs. So this we know. And the next limitation is that lack of decision making. So like manual or like human being, it cannot make or it cannot do or it cannot make its own decisions. So computer cannot make decisions on their own. because it is a machine, it is an electronic device. So these are the questions what they have asked for 2 marks. So hope you have gone through all the 1 mark as well as 2 marks questions. So my dear students, hope you have understood today's session. In my next session, I am going to discuss with section C. So we shall see what are the problems what they have asked in your model question paper under section C. See you all in my next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.